Ian, Ben Stiller isn't giving up hope yet, so what needs to change for the Knicks to send this series and Stiller back to Indiana for a Game 6?
It sounds simple, Eamon, but take care of the basketball. 17 turnovers in Game 4 led directly to 20 Indiana points and indirectly to many others. And you don't want to give Indiana easy baskets because they're going to hunt for those on their own. Even after a made basket, they're flying down the floor, getting odd man rushes, so to speak, and getting favorable matchups for themselves on offense. So you don't want to give them extra possessions. You don't want to give them live ball turnovers where they're getting more easy field goals. You want to make it tough on them. So take care of the basketball. I think it is the primary goal for New York. And that could slow the pace down a little bit, too, because Indiana just been getting up and down the floor the entire night, really, Game 4, and the Knicks could not keep pace. So if you win the turnover battle, if you can kind of slow things down, I think you give yourself a shot.
No doubt. Knicks very careless with the ball in the last game. All right, as we mentioned earlier, Karl Anthony Towns questionable for Game 5 with a knee injury. What more can you tell us about Towns' status for Thursday night?
Well, look, he was walking gingerly after the game, but Tom Thibodeau made a point to say that Towns got back in the game after he got hurt, and so he was kind of saying he should be okay. So maybe this is just a precautionary thing. I have to think that even if Towns is hobbled here, he gives it a go just because of where the Knicks are in the season, backs against the wall. So he won't be 100%, but I would still expect him to play.
Now, it was a rough Game 4 for Mikal Bridges, who's sort of become a lightning rod for the Knicks fans during the playoffs. How critical is it for the Knicks to get him going early?
Yeah, and they need him for defense, really. I mean, the shot making is a plus, and he wasn't shooting the ball well until the fourth quarter, Game 4. But defensively, I mean, Tyrese Haliburton got pretty much everything he wanted Game 4, and Bridges has been matched up on him. They've thrown different looks at Haliburton. Hasn't always been Bridges, but how can he help from a team defense perspective slow Haliburton down? What needs to be done there that isn't happening? Is it Bridges? Is it Anunoby? Is it someone else? Because they can't have Haliburton having the night like he had Game 4 and expect to extend their series. Haliburton was brilliant Game 4, so they need to find a way to make him uncomfortable or to keep him from getting his teammates involved as easily as they had been.
Yeah, finding some way to negate him because he is the guy who stirs the drink for the Pacers. All right, Tom Thibodeau has opened up the rotation in the last 2 games with the likes of DeLon Wright and Landry Shamet seeing the floor. How much do you think that will continue now in an elimination game?
You know, Eamon, I thought it was interesting because Game 3, DeLon Wright played more minutes than he did Game 4. Game 4, I thought he had a good impact in the first half. You didn't see him until 3 minutes into the fourth quarter. It was a quick stint for Wright. So maybe you see more DeLon Wright. I think they found success, obviously, early in that fourth quarter, Game 3, with those 2 guys and Towns with the ball in his hand. So maybe Tom Thibodeau takes a longer look at it. He didn't go to it as long in Game 4, which, again, was a little bit surprising. So maybe you see more of it at Game 5, just because Wright has impacted this Knicks team positively in the last 2 games when he's been on the court, and you haven't had a lot of positive impact against these Pacers. So I would think Thibodeau does go to him a little more Game 5.
All right, Ian, before we let you go, inquiring minds want to know, Zoolander or Meet the Parents? What's your go-to?
Meet the Parents. Meet the Parents. Zoolander's fantastic, but, yeah, I'm going Meet the Parents.
All right, Ian Begley, thanks for joining us here on Honda Sports Night. Great stuff. John Jastremski is here for a Knicks edition of Fact or Fiction. All right, JJ, let's start with Karl Anthony Towns. Let's say he can't suit up. Fact or fiction, the Knicks can win Game 5 without Karl Anthony Towns.
This is a fact, Damon, and you know I've been very bullish on Karl Anthony Towns in this series in particular. But we're talking about one game at Madison Square Garden, and we know this when it comes to the Knicks. When you have either Jalen Brunson or Karl Anthony Towns off the floor, your defense seems to improve dramatically. Now, I'm not suggesting I want to see Cat sit Game 5. I hope he plays. I think the Knicks have a better chance to win Game 5 if indeed he's out there. But can they win one game at home, facing elimination, why not?
You almost went to the better without their stars theory. I was waiting for that. All right, the Knicks have never come back to win a playoff series when trailing 3-1, 0-15 all time. So fact or fiction, losing this series will result in significant changes to the coaching staff and roster.
Fiction. Maybe I missed the memo. I believe the Knicks are in the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 25 years. We're talking about coaching changes? Coaching changes? First time in the conference finals in 25 years. That is outrageous to think about. And the bottom line is, from what we've seen so far in this series, Indiana's been better. But you look at the complexion of the Eastern Conference, the Knicks can run back this current group and be one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the East next year. Not a doubt in my mind. Now, are there questions about your bench and Josh Hart and Mikal Bridges? Of course. But I think for the most part, Eamon, you want the same group back next year, and I want to be talking about Game 6, not next year.
Good luck keeping with that Keep Tibbs theory on Knicks Twitter for you, JJ. Thanks for joining us, as always, on Honda Sports Night.